Just a few days from the final game of the 2024 season, Kansas City sits on the cusp of history. A rematch of Super Bowl 57 takes the field on Sunday, while the Chiefs are laser-focused on turning a back-to-back championship into a three-peat. So can the Eagles spoil history? Well, let's check in with the team one final time ahead of game day. What is up, guys? Happy Thursday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. I am here kinda-ish at Radio Row. So Radio Row is technically downstairs, but your girl can't get any Wi-Fi. So I am upstairs around some of the press conferences and some of the media workrooms, getting in this episode of Chiefs News Daily on Thursday. As always, we ask that you like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel before we get this episode rolling. But today was the final day of media availability. So this was our final chance to be able to talk with the Chiefs players and the Chiefs coaches before they head into the game on Sunday against the Eagles. So the next time we're going to be talking with the Kansas City Chiefs will be post-game on Sunday, and of course the 2024 season will officially be wrapped and we will have a winner of Super Bowl 59. So we're going to kick things off at the podium. So today at the podium we heard from head coach Andy Reid as well as Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes was amongst the rest of the scrum in the opposite room where they're set up at these different risers. Of course, he had a very big crowd at his riser, and then a lot of the players are at little tables where they can talk with media members. And then, of course, another separate room across the way a little bit is where all the assistant coaches are. So, of course, we're going to kick it off with head coach Andy Reid. He talked about Patrick Mahomes, specifically the type of legacy he expects him to leave in the NFL.
He's a great player who will go down, I'm sure, as he finishes his career. He's still young in this thing, but as he finishes his career, he'll be one of the greats if not the greatest to have done it. But, so that definitely helps. I don't want to slight the coaches and his teammates. He's got some good players that he's able to deal the ball to, and whether it's throwing it to him or handing it to him, those big offensive linemen that are helping him out. He appreciates those guys. Took him out to a nice steak dinner the other night, so he appreciates all those guys. And then he's been blessed to have some good defenses that support the other side of him. So it takes a group, but he's definitely a great one.
Also, good news from Coach Reid today. No new injuries to report as the team is going into practice again today. Now, another thing he was talking about in that soundbite, you heard him mentioning that Patrick Mahomes actually took out his whole entire offensive line to a nice steak dinner. So I went and talked to the starting right tackle, Jawaan Taylor, about what that dinner entailed and how it is protecting a guy, or really a $500 million quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
It means a lot having a quarterback as great as Pat. It's a tall task to protect somebody as great as him. And, he always shows his appreciation whenever he can. And taking us to dinner was one of the ways to do that. And we appreciate him. It was all types of different steaks, actually. I think it was like every steak on the menu they had on one plank. But, yeah, they had like 5 or 6 of them lying across the table. So it was more than enough steak for everybody, for sure.
All right, now let's finally check in with QB1, who was at the podium risers today. He was talking about how he draws motivation. He said some guys like DeAndre Hopkins and Kareem Hunt, who don't yet have that Super Bowl ring, is really fueling him to make sure that he goes out and gets his 4th ring.
My main motivation always is to win the Super Bowl for the guys that haven't won it before. Because you like to see the smiles on their faces of being at the top of the profession that they've been a part of for either a short amount of time or a long amount of time. And so that, and then being able to win it with the guys that I've been with a long time as well. And you accomplish a goal together. And it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifices, and those are always exciting.
All right, so far Patrick Mahomes has gone to 5 Super Bowls. He is looking for his 4th Super Bowl ring, his 3rd consecutive Super Bowl win. Now let's go to his bestie, Travis Kelce, who was also at the podium talking with the media today. Now, he talked a little bit about his girlfriend, Taylor Swift, and how he draws some of his motivation and work ethic from what she's able to do.
Playing from one country to the next, and, how excruciating it is on her body and on her mind. And it's not just her, it was her entire, tour. It was the dancers, it was the band, the singers, it was everybody involved. And it was an absolute machine. And it was something I could admire watching and take a lot of notes from.
Now, Kelce, of course, talked about a lot of other things today at the podium. One of those was the fact that his nieces are going to be at the Super Bowl cheering him on. Kylie Kelce and Jason Kelce, so his sister-in-law and his brother Jason, are getting their daughters these shirts that say Uncle Travie or Go Uncle Travie, something like that. But it's really cute, and he had a lot to say about that today.
He told me how much I love them, and the fact that the girls are going to be wearing a Go Uncle Travie shirt, it warms my heart and gives me, something else to fight for, and hopefully I can make them proud and put a few smiles on their faces throughout the game.
Now, Kelce also talked about a guy who's not technically his blood, but also feels like family, Coach Reid, saying that he's been a bit of a father figure once you get to know him.
Like, there wasn't too much of the personality that I see now, knowing that he's like a father figure to me. He's like, I don't know, one of my uncles growing up that I respect so much because of who he is. And I owe everything to that man and my career and where it's gone, where I was in Cincinnati and where I am now, man. I have nothing but respect for Coach Reid and how he's helped me get to where I am in life.
So continuing to pour into these guys, even when they're in their mid-30s, making sure that they feel like they're always a part of a family on this team. Definitely the culture and the chemistry is something that we've been able to hear a lot about as we lead up to Super Bowl 59. And someone who I got to ask about that was defensive end George Karlaftis. I asked him, as a rookie, looking back and now looking to go for another Super Bowl, who were the guys that really poured into him when he first started in the league?
I was lucky enough to have a few great veterans, and still feel like I'm one of the younger guys in the room, even though I've had 3 years under my belt now. My rookie year specifically, having guys like Frank Clark, Carlos Dunlap, Chris Jones. Later in the year, Brandon Williams. Even a guy like Mike Dana that was older at that point at least. Helped mold me to the game, the guy that I am today. Helped mold my game to what it is today. I learned so much, something different from each guy. We learned so much about the game, and having Chris and Mike here the whole time with me has helped me in so many ways, both on and off the field, and I love those guys.
Now, one of those guys that Patrick Mahomes was talking about earlier was DeAndre Hopkins, who does not yet have a Super Bowl ring, even though he's played in the NFL for 12 seasons. Today, we talked with him a little bit about how he's had to remain patient and how excited he is to be on a team that has a Super Bowl caliber roster.
The biggest thing I learned this year was be patient. I started off on a team in Tennessee, it wasn't looking good, and I was patient. I felt that I was hoping that something would come out this year. I heard rumors about me being traded, and I just kind of thought, to myself, I hope I get traded to a competitor where I can kind of finish off my year strong.
All right, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily down here in New Orleans. We're going to wrap up things or more of our Super Bowl coverage tomorrow with another episode on Friday. And then in the meantime, we ask that you like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you back here in New Orleans on Friday.